years in total with West Genesee, and we're here today to celebrate the wrestling program 2025-26. I have Logan Willis here with me. I also have Austin Fesinger and Head Coach Brian McAvan. Can you please show them a little bit of love, give them a little round of applause, show them some love here tonight all the way at the front. So Logan, you have the mic. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Bring me into, you come off this season. What's the first thing that's on your mind when you think on 2025-26?
It was a good season, although we were hoping to go back-to-back sectionals. Didn't happen. Second place was pretty good. There was a lot of hope. We lived up to expectations a little bit. A couple downsides, like our duel against Marcellus, but overall, great season, especially sectionals brought 9 guys, all 9 guys placed. Took second, I think, at that tournament as a team, so it was pretty solid overall.
Can you talk about that? Like, obviously, you want to be champions back-to-back, but you had a lot of success at sectionals. How do you reflect on that for yourself personally when you look back at sectionals?
I still think it was a pretty good showing, although we didn't really reach that goal of winning the whole thing. It was, again, really good showing. Nothing really to do about it now, so.
You're rocking the RIT.
Yeah.
Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, I committed this weekend.
So, congratulations. Can we clap that up? A very recent commitment.
Yeah.
Why RIT?
One, they offered me a good amount of money. They have a great wrestling program. I know a lot of the guys pretty well. I have a former teammate, Jack Lamson, over there. I've been in contact with the coaches for a while now. It's just an overall good program and piques my interests, like, academically.
You know what you want to study?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. So what are you looking to do with that?
I want to go somewhere in the automotive industry, design cars, something along those lines.
Make it a little cheaper for us.
Maybe.
Try. All right.
We'll see.
Austin, how are you?
I'm doing good.
So Austin, for you, what's the first thing you think about when you think about this past season?
We had a lot of ups and not a lot of downs. Just really steamrolled through a lot of the teams.
So you said a lot of ups, not a lot of downs. What did you learn from having the success that you had throughout the season?
It was just, it was just fun. Like senior year, you just kind of just go out there and have fun. But with losing a lot of the kids that we lost last year and having a lot of young kids, it was like, are we going to be as good? And they all stepped up and made it fun.
So you said losing a lot of people from last year. Who stepped up the most? Who were some of the young guys that you really felt like stepped up?
Well, we had a transfer from Beeville, Brennan, and he did really well. Same with both of the Fullers, and Max. That was injured.
Who was the person in practice that you feel like was the toughest to go up against?
This kid right here.
Logan?
Yeah.
Why would you say Logan?
I don't think I scored more than 2 takedowns all season.
Logan, who was the most difficult one for you to go up against?
Austin, definitely. Mine and Austin's styles are really different, and my style doesn't match up as well into his because I'm a lot more stingy and rigid when I wrestle, where Austin just likes to flow through positions, and I'm not very good at that. So even when I can get him on his legs, it takes me about 5 minutes to take him down from there. So it's a while, and they're always fun rolls and like hard rolls. So it's good for us.
Coach, how are you?
Good.
So you hear these guys say that they're the biggest adversary for each other in practice. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, they were our 2 best guys this season, and neither of them could have found a better practice partner anywhere. So it was good.
How long on average did it take for one of these guys to take the other one down?
Well, it depends on Austin's mood. If he was miserable, he'd get taken down 15 times in a row. But if he's happy, it was even.
Happy he was even. All right. So you talk about mood. How would you describe your mood, Coach?
Month out of the season, I'm as happy as I'm ever going to be. A month ago, not so much. But no, it was a great season. And reflecting on these 2 guys' careers, these guys now sit 1 and 2 in all-time wins for West Genesee Wrestling, so that's impressive. I didn't count up the dual meet wins, but this year individual tournaments. We took second at the Haynes. We've never finished that high before. We won the Livonia tournament. Port Byron, we didn't send our full team there. We still had a good showing. And then second in the classes, second in the section. I mean, it's impressive. It was an impressive season.
You said a month ago you probably would have been a little negative, a little down, but now it's changed. I mean, how is that just because it was coming right off of everything?
No, I'm just naturally a glass half empty guy. That's just who I am. And then the season, the stress of it all, you really honestly, you're worried about the kids' success, which is a lot more difficult to do than your own. You do things, you don't necessarily worry about your own success, but you're focused on the kids, and when it doesn't go well, you get upset.
So these two kids, like you said, more positives, a lot of great things to think about. 1 and 2 in the history at West Genesee. So I want to start with Logan. What's been your favorite thing about him on the mat and then as a person overall?
On the mat, Logan, one of the easiest kids to coach. You don't have to tell him much except for how much time is left. He knows what he wants to do in every position. He's more of a student of the game. Say that about sports. He goes through the game and really knows a lot of wrestling, which, it lends well in a lot of matches. As a kid, I've had the pleasure of coaching in football as well. Both these guys played JV football for me. Were a part of a lot of wins in that team as well. Logan is a winner. He wants to win, and he wants to play. He wants to participate. He does not want to sit back. He wants to go. A lot of kids just think you got to kind of kick him in the butt. He doesn't need that. So, and that's just who he is.
And then as far as Austin, off the mat, on the mat?
Well, on the mat, Austin, we've seen him do things while he pinned a kid, and I still don't know what it's called, in the state tournament. We got a picture of it. But normal bodies don't bend like that, which is probably what that kid was thinking. Again, Logan mentioned him wrestling through positions and just, rolling, and ended up in a spot where he ends up scoring. The thing that I like the most about Austin as a wrestler is he's a fighter. He is ready to fight. It doesn't matter who we're wrestling, he's going to go out and fight that kid. And through his career, he's chased better competition in our duels. There were times where we could have moved around against a less talented wrestler. He wanted to take on, the tougher kids. He's a fighter. As a person, watching him grow up from a little 7th grader to a senior, he's really matured quite a bit, as a young man. And he's starting to, even though he's a senior, he's still kind of coming into his own athletically. I think wherever he decides to go, they're going to get a kid they're real happy with a couple years down the road.
Awesome words. Can we clap it up again for these gentlemen, please? Austin, do you have a thought about where you want to go?
I really don't know where I'm going to college. I have narrowed it down, but still deciding.
When would you like to have your decision made?
Probably next 2 weeks, maybe.
Within the next 2 weeks?
Decision day is on May 1st, so it's got to come up soon.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of time?
Yeah.
You said you've narrowed it down. Are you thinking more this area, or you want to go outside of the area?
Outside of the area. All the colleges I'm looking at are out of state.
Out of state? What states?
Michigan, Rhode Island, and PA.
And PA? Okay. All right. Well, we anxiously await what you decide on that. You heard Coach say some nice things about you. What do you want to say about your head coach?
He definitely brings the energy at dual meets. Always just yelling something that's useful. So just always being able to, he's loud, so always being able to hear him is nice.
He's loud, so always being able to hear him is nice. Like that. Would you concur?
When I need to be.
When you need to be. Okay.
Even if I don't listen to him.
Even if you don't listen. All right, Logan, what would you say about Coach?
Coach McAvan's definitely committed to his job and being a part of the sport in everyone's career, which is much appreciated in a head coach. But he also dances with the fine line of being hard on the guys and like pushing us at practice while also like still making it enjoyable for everyone to be there and like actually love the sport that we're playing, you know.
So why do you love it? What was it about wrestling that spoke to you, that continues to speak to you?
It's definitely the hardest sport, in my opinion, that you can do. So I find it really encouraging myself that I am one of the top of the sport. And then it's just fun to be able to beat the crap out of someone and just, you know, it's awesome.
Austin, for you, what would you say is what keeps you in wrestling?
Just the accountability. There's no one to fall back on. It's you versus the other person on the mat. So it's more just going out there and just being able to test your own ability than rather like the team's ability in a sense. Even though it is a team sport, it's also has an individual aspect to it.
We have a world that doesn't always show that accountability or responsibility. Why do you like that? Why do you like it being on you?
Cause you can't bullshit around. Like if you lose, you lose. It's not like you can't like be like, oh, like the ref did this, the ref did that. In a sense, you can, but like it should have never been in the hands of the ref. Like you should have just been better.
Do you have a special move or a favorite move? Coach was talking about how you bent somebody in a way that he's never seen before. And then I saw Logan say like what was the move? And you just were like, I have no idea. So do you have a special move?
I kind of just go out there and just hope something works. You know, like I have a really good knowledge of the move I'm gonna do. It doesn't always end up how I want it to work, but it just ends up working.
So once you're out there, you're gonna ad-lib a bit.
Yeah.
But do you have a move that you think is like the best in your wheelhouse?
I would probably just like on bottom. I just usually just hit a Peterson, so just roll through and hope and just get up on top. It's hard to explain, but yeah.
Logan, do you have one? Do you have a
Again,
That's the easiest answer, the history answer.
I'm known for knowing. I'm known for knowing just about every in and out of an arm bar, which is a pinning combination on top. I had like maybe 26 pins. I think like 25 of them were in an arm bar, all different like ways to finish it. It seems like a simple move, but there's so many complexities based off the other guy's reaction that you have to react to. So I like it being so versatile when it seems so simple, and it's just a really easy move to run for me. So
when did you kind of know like, hey, this is a move that I can do so many different nuances off of, like this is something that I really can hone on?
When I realized I was a terrible leg rider, I had to work on other pinning combinations and working on actually being able to ride a guy out. So I just got really good at rolling wrists under and just working my way around the difficulties of the arm bar. So,
Coach, for you, do you have a favorite move?
Well, again, just talking to these two guys, you see what it's like coaching. So every kid does something different, right? So you have to be able to coach them in all their positions. Like we have in the crowd, Max Alexander sitting here, he's got a great double leg, great single, better on his feet. You know, Austin, his best position is bottom and right. Honestly, because nobody knows what he's going to do, but he's got good hips and he's going to find his way. And push comes to shove, you want Logan on top so he can get an arm bar and a half and work from there. So, I mean, what we do, we work through every position. All the things we do in practice aren't for everybody. But like, you know, Austin mentioned, you know, you kind of know everything to do in that spot, so you kind of pick what you want to do at that time. Because, you know, we're talking about Logan, we're at a tournament in Albany, and he said he had so many arm bars, his arm was actually sore. You know, but then he saw a kid in the finals that was 3 inches shorter than him, right? And a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker. So, you know, that whole style is different. So that's why knowing different things to do through different positions is what really matters.
For you, you heard the guys talk about what keeps them in wrestling. You've obviously loved this sport for a long time. What is it that keeps calling back to you when it comes to the sport?
what it does for young kids. I know what it did for me as an athlete. I wasn't an elite wrestler like these gentlemen are, but I know what it did for me mentally, physically, what it taught me. Also, I have a lot of pride in the West Genesee Wrestling program, and I love watching these kids win and seeing kids grow from being young and watching a kid who might not start the season real well, but then end up taking second in the section, right? So it's that growth through the season, watching them achieve is what keeps me coming back.
So like you said, watching them, seeing them, all the lessons that wrestling can teach you, what's the greatest lesson that you've ever learned from wrestling?
There's no one else out there but you, and like Austin said, which by the way shows his growth, because you can't blame anybody, but yourself. There's always more work to be done. So, if you're the toughest guy in your room, go find another room. Right? There's always more work that can be done. There's always something that can be worked on, whether it's physical, technique, mental. It's a sport that pushes all those things.
Well, that being said, we're going to jump into rapid fire. We'll get to put each other on the hot seat, have some fun with the wrestling team here for West Genesee. Coach, you have the mic, so I'm going to let you ask Austin the question.
Okay. All right. You're out your back. In first period, the 7th place match in the States. What are you thinking?
Nothing.
8th place sounds pretty good.
As long as I'm on that podium, I'm good.
As long as I'm on the phone. All right. What's your question for Coach?
Why have you been at West Genesee for so long?
I haven't. It's only 10 years. It sounds like a long time to you, but trust me, when you're my age, 10 years is a blink of an eye. So I know this, that I wouldn't coach anywhere else. If something were to happen, my career would be over.
Now for Logan.
How are you going to feel when Grayson beats your win record?
See, he's already behind because he missed out on his 7th grade year. But I'd be happy for him. Records are made to be broken, although I would be disappointed. Question for you. What are you going to do without me and Austin next year?
We're going to have to coach. That's a good question, though. But when you got, and we've had the pleasure the last couple of years having kids in our lineup that other teams just could not beat. So when you got those kids, you can put them out there. They're a stopper in your lineup, and other teams they have to split their whole lineup based on that 1 or 2 guys that you have. So having a couple guys that will go out there and get you 6 every night, that's a big adjustment. So we'll see.
All right, gentlemen, you get to put me on the hot seat now. Logan, what do you got?
I'm just kind of curious. Where does your knowledge of wrestling, lie? Would you say you're well versed within the sport, or newer to it, or
I've learned a lot. So we have an exclusive partnership with Binghamton University. So I've gotten to talk with multiple head coaches there, and then obviously there's student athletes, guys that have competed in the NCAAs, and got to do a lot of things. One of the wrestlers this season beat one of the top 3 guys in the country. So, and they're in the EIWA, which has gotten a lot of respect. So I think that I've definitely learned more recently. When I was a kid growing up, it was like my cousin would say, I'm older than you, I'm bigger than you, I love wrestling, come to the house, let's wrestle. And then I got kicked out of his house when I beat him. So that's what I remember from my childhood, is we kept going and I kept winning, and then he made me wait at his front door for my mom, back before cell phones and all that. He's like, we called your mom, she's coming to pick you up, and I had to go wait by the front door. So I didn't know a lot back then. I was kind of like what Austin said, where it was I just picked a move that worked when I didn't know what I was going to do. But yeah, I've learned more now, and definitely respect the EIWA and respect what Binghamton has done, and a lot of their assistant coaches that were student athletes recently. And they've had a lot of great guys come through. So I've just kind of been spoiled in learning the game from that respect. But then knowing Brian and knowing I wanted to get wrestling back out here, and put a spotlight back on West Genesee. It's a world that I'm getting more and more into. Got to learn some moves, but I'm learning. I'm getting there.
I can teach you a nasty arm bar.
Yeah, teach me the arm bar. That's right. I think we need to film that. I need to learn the arm bar.
Snap down.
If my neighbor keeps putting stuff on my lawn, we're going to learn the arm bar.
All right.
Okay.
Snap it, right.
Yeah. So, my question for you, Logan, if you took over my show tomorrow and it was Wake Up Call with Logan Willis, who would be your 3 special guests and why?
Like, are we talking like all time?
Anything. It could
Like
be wrestling,
anyone.
could be wrestling, sports, entertainment, family, whoever you want.
Like okay.
Anybody.
Anyone, period. My favorite NFL player of all time is Luke Kuechly because of his work ethic and everything. So definitely be a privilege to talk to him.
Okay.
Other 2, I'd probably have my father on just so I can prove that I know more about wrestling than he does. And we can have that conversation about who would win and just prove that I would. 3rd. I gotta think of 3rd. That's, I don't know a 3rd. Not my brother, no. Honestly, it'd probably be Austin because mine and Austin's conversations are so fun. And it's honestly, it's just random, but it's so much fun to just talk to Austin. Like, practice is so much more enjoyable because of him. So, you know, we'd be like actually seriously wrestling, and Austin just looks at you that one way, and you just can't stop laughing. So,
This is not part of Rapid Fire just because you guys have shown your closeness here on the stage today. How strange is it going to be when you're not in the same place next year?
it's gonna be so weird having someone who's like serious 24/7 at practice, because me and Austin work hard to an extent. Like there'll be practices where we go for like 5 minutes on a live go, just get tired and decide to sit down for the next 5 minutes and just talk about whatever we want. So it's gonna be, not having that freedom too is gonna be really different.
Okay. All right. So Austin, this is not my question for you. I just want to get what you think on the other side of this, what it's going to be like to not be with Logan next season.
It's definitely going to be weird because we've been practice partners since we've been in 7th grade, like all throughout varsity. So like, it's nice having someone that you're familiar with wrestling, because then you can work your moves that you like know and they allow you to an extent. But it's just going to be like different, like having to meet a new person that you're comfortable with wrestling every day.
Fair enough. What's your question for me?
Oh wow, I'm not really good at this.
Any topic, anything in the world.
What got you into podcasting?
What got me into like broadcasting?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've told this all kind of short, but like, I have always been a storyteller since I was little. Like, I remember 5 years old, like typing out stories, just whatever was in my head, whatever my imagination, you know, putting myself in whatever world I created, putting my friends in it. So I've always been a storyteller. I love sports. I have a photographic memory. So I would like collect cards and I'd flip them over and I would see the stats and then I would just start like spewing out the information, not even realizing I was taking the information in. So it's storytelling, love for sports, to seeing what sports does with people. It's one of the only things that strangers will get together on. Like, this world is so polarized now, like you're either here or you're there. And if you agree on 9 things but not 10 things, you can't be friends, which is stupid and ridiculous because nobody's the same. So I think sports brings us into this world where we forget about like red or blue, this religion or that, like where do I stand on everything? You're just like watching the game, and if you're a Yankee fan and the guy next to you is a Yankee fan and the girl over there is a Yankee fan, you kind of all sit together, and by the 5th inning you're laughing, you're joking, you know, you're picking up different things together, and now all of a sudden 3 years later the 3 of you are coming back to the same bar, you're hanging out here at the Wildcat, you're friends, all because you like this game, this kid's game that's become this adult thing that some people get to do. So I just feel like sports brings people together. I feel like there's a positivity there's kind of a release to go into sports, and I wanted to be in a place where I could meet people where they're at and try to bring them things through something they love to try and make the world a better place. So that's kind of how I got here, I guess. My question back to you, Austin. All right, I asked my buddy this morning because I said he would be the vice president if I ever ran for president. So if you ran for president and you won, who is your vice president? And when you step to the podium on Inauguration Day, what's the first thing you say? Besides, like, my fellow Americans or hello, what's the first thing that you say?
Oh, wow. My vice president would probably be my friend Liam Kelly. You might have interviewed him on the football team.
Yeah, why Liam?
We've just been friends for like ever, and he's just such a fun person to be around, just always talking. And the first thing I would say on Inauguration Day,
It's going to be remembered forever. They're like, he said this. What's
these
that?
next 4 years are going to be a ride.
Are going to be a ride?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I like it. I like the energy. Coach, we get to finish this thing together. So what is your question for me? And then I'll finish with a question for you.
After I met you a few years ago, I've been watching a lot of your stuff online. And by the way, the Binghamton wrestling team, there's a lot of Section 3 guys down there.
Yeah.
Head coach is a Morrisville guy. Carter Barrett, well, he's not a Section 3 guy, but I went to college with his dad, so.
I was thinking of Carter when you asked me about that. That's one of the guys that came up.
We wrestled him all through his high school career, so there's a lot of Section 3 connections down there. But anyway, so watching you and all the people that you interview in the area, who do you think is the best interview for you? And I'm just like our area, Syracuse area. I know you do Syracuse sports. So who's the best interview for you?
In like Central New York?
Yeah, like who answers your questions instead of blows you off, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that I've built a lot of good relationships where people feel safe, and they should. I would say, man, I mean, some of the best conversations I ever had were with Floyd Little before he passed. But he was the last person I talked to before I started my company.
Okay.
I talked to my mom, my dad, my grandmother, G-Mom, my mom's mom, and I talked to Floyd. But I would say now, that's tough. Probably, man, in the area, there's a lot of personalities, there's a lot of great people. So this is really difficult. I mean, I would say probably still in the state of New York, even though he's at St. Bonnie's now, is Bob Beretta when he was at Lemoyne, and just in general. I mean, he became a man. I don't think I can pick anybody else because he's been like the best mentor to me. He's real, he's honest, he's not a yes man, he pushes me, and he always, they say that you should only be around people that have your back in rooms you're not in, and he always did. So I'm gonna say Bob. Because there was never anything we couldn't talk about, and I always feel like he gave me more than maybe he would give it to anybody else because of that trust.
Nice.
So I'll say Bob. My question back to you. Well, over the years, I've learned from the McAvan family that family is important.
Oh yeah.
So what are you most grateful for when it comes to the word family? Just what that word means to you.
Well, the older you get, the more you know. In the end, that's who will be there for you. And it's not necessarily, blood. Your blood family might not be there for you, but somebody will. Right? The relationships that you build through your lifetime are very important. And again, watching these young men grow into alumni and things like that, they come back. Most of the times, it's a good relationship pretty much with all of them that come back, and we're happy to see them going well. I mean, again, over the 10 years at West Genesee, we've got some kids that have gone on and done amazing things that wrestle in our program, and I couldn't be more proud to have been involved in their athletic journey and meeting their parents, and things like that. So you know, family's everything. You know, there's a lot out there that's just for show. But all I can say is, family's there, and you know it when it's around you. You can feel it.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, blood, non-blood, it's the people that show up consistently and without being asked to a lot of the time. So for the head coach of West Genesee Wrestling, Brian McAvan, for Logan Willis, for Austin Fesinger, myself, Dan Tortora, thank you for being here with us one more time from the Wildcat. And one more time to see these two guys together, which we will miss, but I know you're going to do awesome at RIT. And I know I'll be paying attention for the next couple of weeks to find out where you're going to be heading for the next chapter of your life. Please give them a round of applause one more time. Y'all have a good night.